welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I thought I would do like a book recommendations video. I actually did this video a while ago but I didn't actually post it. I did my 5-star reads, but yeah, I didn't post it. But I thought I would do, basically tell you guys my 5-star reads and include my like 4-star reads as well in this video, because I feel like I don't have that many 5-star reads. Well, I don't know, I feel like I do, but I don't know how long this video is going to be if I just include my 5-star reads. So I thought I would include some 4 stars as well. So I do have them all on my phone because I wanted to write down like what I rated them, because I can't really remember. Obviously I remember like my 5-star reads, but like my 4-star reads I couldn't really remember. But I thought I would start off with telling you guys my 5-star reads from last year, because I started to get back into reading in 2022. So yeah, I thought I would start with that, and then I'll go into my 5-star reads for this year, which is not very many. I think I've only rated maybe 3 or 4 maybe. Yeah, let's get straight into the video. So first I thought I would, yeah, so the ones that I've rated 5 stars from last year, are right here. So first is Reminders of You by Colleen Hoover. I remember reading this on my Kindle and I loved it so much. It is basically about a mother and she goes to prison and she gets her baby taken away from her, and then she's trying to like she's basically trying to find her daughter and like build a relationship with her daughter again, and she meets this guy. And the story, like, I loved like the idea of the story. I've never read anything like this before, and I do want to reread this. And I love the title, because the title like kind of like, you know, when you read the book, like, you know what the title means, which I love that, when like you find out like what it actually means in the book when you read it. And the cover is just stunning. Like, I just love this cover. Next is a book that is probably like one of my favourites, and I think loads of other people like love this book, and that is 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book is just amazing. It basically tells the story of Evelyn Hugo and her rise to fame, basically, because she's like an actress, and you obviously get to see her go through obviously her 7 husbands, and there's like a massive twist at the end which is so shocking, and also at the end it's really emotional as well. This is quite an emotional read as well, but I always think about this book a lot and I would love to reread it as well. And Taylor Jenkins Reid is probably one of my favourite authors. Like, her writing is so good. I've read so many of her books and she is just amazing. Next is probably a bit of a controversial one, because I've heard people say they didn't like this book because it's too descriptive, which I get, it is really descriptive, but I just love the story. It's about a girl who lives in a marsh, and basically there's like a murder happens, and you're basically trying to like figure out, well, basically the girl gets accused of murder, and you're trying to like, and it goes through her story when she's a kid, and it is a really emotional story as well, because her dad like leaves her and she's kind of like left to fend for herself from such a young age. But yeah, it is such a good book. And the movie is so good as well. I read the movie when it came out, I think it was last year. Yeah, last year. Because I read the book and then I watched the movie, and oh, such an amazing experience to read the book before you watch the film and see how they brought it to life. It just was it's amazing. But I know this one is really, really controversial because a lot of people just don't like it because it's too descriptive. Another one that is quite controversial because this book, I think people thought that the book was kind of like made as like a, you know, just to make money, but I don't know, I love this book because I love the story of Lily and Atlas. It starts with us, and I remember I pre-ordered this last year. It came out in October, and as soon as I got it, I was literally just reading it, and it took me like not even that long to read it, and I loved it so much. I always think about this book because I think like when you read It Ends With Us, like because it ends on like a cliffhanger, like you want to know like what happens like next. I don't know, I just wanted to like, you know, read about Lily and Atlas' story and get a happy ending. So yeah, this is another 5-star read for me. Yeah, so they're all the 5-star reads that I rated last year, and now I'll show you guys the ones that I rated for this year, which is actually not that many. I don't know, I don't rate many books 5 stars unless like I literally love them to a T. So I think the first one that I rated 5 stars this year was a thriller, and I definitely recommend this. Like, cause obviously it's like September has just come around and October's coming around, and that's kind of the time when people like to read thrillers. So this story, it's not a very nice story. Like, I didn't rate it 5 stars because like I liked the story because it is very like traumatizing, and it's not a very nice story because it's like about what happens to this little girl called Ellie. Basically she disappears like one day, and then her mum still doesn't really know like what's happened to her. Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This I absolutely loved. I also read this in a couple of days and I could not put it down. And yeah, it's just amazing. There's an amazing twist within the book. I'm not gonna like say like, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, because I think the twist kind of like made it like a 5-star for me. Like it wasn't the actual like story because it was quite traumatizing. But yeah, I definitely would recommend this one. Then I have 2 romance books. The first is For Strangers by Renee Carlino. This is second chance romance, and I actually used to not like second chance romance. But after reading this, I literally I fell in love with second chance romance. This is about a girl, I think she's called Grace. Grace and, is it Matt? I think it's called Matt. I can't remember the names of them, but it's about Grace and Matt. And basically one day he basically spots Grace on a subway station, and she's getting on a train, and he kind of like misses her, and then it goes back in time to when they're at college and when they fell in love, and how they lost touch and how they kind of rekindle their relationship. And it is just amazing. It's just an amazing story, and I absolutely loved it. Next is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is my first ever cowboy romance that I read, and I just loved it so much. I just loved Rhett and Summer's relationship, and I still haven't read any of the other books in the series, which I really need to get to. But yeah, this definitely 5-star read for me. I just loved it. So I thought next I would go through my 4 stars and close to. I've got one that was really close to 5 stars that I rated 4.75. I think loads of people have rated this 5 stars, but I just didn't really like the ending. And that is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is another second chance romance. It's about Macy and Elliot, and it's kind of like similar to Before We Were Strangers, but it's kind of different. basically it's kind of quite summery. Like Macy and Elliot have like summer houses and they live next door to each other, and they visit there like during like the summertime. And then basically it's about their relationship, and they like lose touch as well after so many years, and then you see like what happens, and it's quite emotional. Oh god. Next is, I think this one's quite controversial, but it's a really, really short book. It's like just over 200 pages long, and the twist in this book, oh my god, it literally got me, and I just did not see it coming at all. And that is We Were Liars. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is so good. Yeah, I'm not going to say much about it. It's quite summery as well, like it's kind of set on like a, I don't know, like on holiday, I think. But yeah, it is really, really good. I would definitely recommend. Next, I have 2 fantasy books that I rated 4 stars. I've kind of got into fantasy this year a little bit. I've kind of not read fantasy for a while. Like I read these towards the beginning of the year. But these 2 are probably one of my favourite, like my 2 favourites that I read. The first one is The Shadow Between Us. This is like a marriage, I think it's a marriage of convenience kind of. Basically the girl goes into the palace, she moves into the palace, and she's trying to like get revenge on like the king, but then they kind of fall in love. It's like a romantasy, I'd say, but it's really, really good. I love this one. Then I have Kingdom of the Wicked. I love this one as well. It's about 2 twin girls, and they're like witches, and they've got kind of like powers, but they're trying to hide their powers from everyone else. And basically one day, I think it's her sister, is it Amelia's sister, like basically dies, and Amelia's trying to find out what happened to her sister. And then she kind of gets involved with one of the, is it the princes or something? Princes of Hell. And yeah, it is really, really good. I know there's like 2 other books in this series, which I haven't read. But yeah, I absolutely love this one. And lastly is a summer book that I read over summer, which I rated 4 stars as well. And it was really, really good. I loved it. And that is Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. It is this book like really opened my eyes. Basically it's about this girl called Mary Jane, and like her family are really strict and they're religious, and they kind of, I don't know, keep her in a little, like a bubble. And then she goes to nanny for this little girl, and like their family is so different. And I think the father is like a, it's like a therapist or something, and he's basically like looking at, basically there's these 2 like rock stars, one's a rock star and his wife like move into the house, and he's basically trying to help the rock star, like, and it's just shows how like different their family are to hers. And then she kind of grows as a person, and she finds out like who she really, like what she really is like, because her family kind of are really restrictive of her. But yeah, it is really, really good. I literally love it. So yeah, this is the aftermath of all the book racks. Yeah. I actually forgot that there is one more book that I rated 5 stars this year, and I actually forgot to include it because I don't actually have the physical copy of it because it is really expensive to buy, and that is Haunting Adeline I literally love that book so much. When I started reading it, I wasn't really sure of it because it is quite like, it kind of put me on edge a lot because it is like a stalker romance, which is very like triggering, I think. It's got a lot of trigger warnings, and at first I wasn't really sure, but it is so gripping. It's like mixed between like a romance and like a mystery, I would say, because there's a stalker like trying to stalk Adeline, but then there's like a mystery involved because she's trying to find out what happened to her grandmother, and she's living in this house, and it's a very like haunting book, and it is really long. It's like over 500 pages long. I haven't read the second one yet, but the first one it did like end on a cliffhanger, so which was really good as well. But I just didn't want to like go straight into the second one because I just love the story so much, and once I finished the second one then there's like no more, so I just didn't really want to like read it straight away, but I still need to read the second one. But yeah, I absolutely loved Haunting Adeline, and I definitely recommend. I feel like a lot more people are reading it like recently. I've seen quite a few people on like BookTok read it and stuff, so if you haven't, I would recommend. It is on Kindle Unlimited, which is where I read it. If you like can't afford to buy the book because it is quite expensive. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.